Ready.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Drop In and Learn. The topic is managing callbacks and a busy schedule. So we have a great panel set up for you, and we have our very own Michelle Tyler that is going to talk about leads and a busy schedule from her perspective. So without any more delay, we're going to turn this over to Michelle. So a little bit about Michelle. She's been with the company for 10 years. She started in the service department, and she worked very hard there. She did such a great job. Stanford walked over and said, I need this person in leads, and asked her if she would come over, and she said yes. So Michelle is an extremely hard worker. She works most Saturdays. Answers her phones on vacation, and she executes on Adam and Stanford's vision of leads. So, Michelle, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Just kind of want to go over a couple of quick things here. Right now, you all know we are extremely busy. This has definitely been the busiest we've been for this long of a time in the 10 years that I have been here. Right now, we are, if you call in to schedule an appointment or if you go on the website, we are scheduling for next Thursday, April 29th. And that does not include taking the appointments out that were scheduled last night. So there's a good possibility a lot of those times will actually be taken within the next hour once we kind of finish converting all the leads from overnight. This is why I keep sending out the emails, letting everybody know how important it is with the callbacks to either fit them into your schedule, contact me, get them in at least, beyond that 10-day point. It's pretty insane, to be honest with you. We are trying to assign these leads as good as we can and get them in there, fit them into time spots that are open. It's like a puzzle. And working with everybody's schedule just kind of adds into that a little bit. I'm just going to go over a couple of things that I've noticed kind of work for certain reps and work well for me with getting appointments in, just to try and help you guys out a little bit. We know this is difficult. We know that you need to get your callbacks in. We know you need to get back to your customers. But we also know that we have new appointments coming in and we need to run those just as much. Some of the things I'm noticing, some sales reps are scheduling 8 a.m. calls, appointments. They'll go meet with their customers before their 10 o'clock. Obviously, Sunday is a huge day to be utilized. A lot of people will fit their callbacks in on Sundays. You all know about the doing them online. You can email your contracts. Obviously, that helps save some time. There's a good amount of reps that just fit it into their schedule as they receive their appointments. I am trying to, now that I'm back from vacation, I'm trying to get back a couple of days ahead with having appointments assigned. This helps not only the office, but also you. If you happen to see that, you have appointments already scheduled for a couple days out, you can shoot me a text. This actually happened last night. I had a sales rep text me, noticed that he had appointments already assigned on Wednesday. He asked if I was done assigning those, if he could fit some stuff in. Absolutely, go ahead. So I marked him off so that way I don't add any more appointments in for him. And now he has Wednesday that he can fit some customers in around his schedule that we already assigned for him. Another thing that works out really well, especially for the sales reps that are in multiple areas, happened yesterday. Sales rep called me first thing in the morning to let me know that he needed to be out in the Jackson area for a callback. Customer was only available anytime after 4:30. I did the leads, actually needed somebody out that way. Sorry, my internet said it was unstable. I actually needed somebody out that way, was able to work with him. He's able to get 2 of his callbacks done today, actually. So these are just a couple of different things that work out well. I know Ken works in a couple different areas, so a lot of times he will send me an email and just say, please let me know when I can be in the Lansing area, or please let me know when you can put me in Grand Rapids. I have some callbacks. That way I know he needs to be in that area and I have that in my mind when I'm assigning appointments. A couple of sales reps will they'll just shoot me a text and say, I need to be in the Grosse Pointe area sometime on next Thursday. So I leave myself a little note and I will put them in that vicinity so that way they're not working in Flint all day long and can't get down to Grosse Pointe. A lot of it really just revolves around communication. Please, please, please communicate with me if you need help with fitting some appointments in. If you need me to look at the schedule, I can look at the schedule and see, hey, you know what, this time is a little bit light on leads. Go ahead and schedule it for next Tuesday at 12 or 1:30. There's a lot of different things that we can do so that I can assist you with getting these callbacks in or referrals in or just whatever. All I ask is that you please not just assign it. I am extremely overbooked for this Saturday, and to just have appointments popping up on the schedule for Saturday is going to really put me in a situation. So I'm just asking that everybody, honestly, just please communicate with me. We're all doing our best here. We're trying to fit in as much as we can. And that's really just the biggest thing is obviously communication.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle.
That's pretty much all I have.
Let me chime in. David, I'm going to chime in for just 2 seconds and just say communication and cooperation is key. If you need help, we're here to assist you. But that means reaching out and not just pushing things through. So there's a lot of moving parts of all this, and we understand that you have customers that want you to come back, and it's hard to manage your individual calendars and schedules, and everyone is extremely busy. But sending a text or reaching out to Michelle before scheduling that is way better for everybody involved than just scheduling it at your own convenience and leaving it up for the office to deal with the aftermath. We have to work together. It's about cooperation. If we're working together, it will run much more smoothly. We're here to assist you. If you need something, we could help, but we just need to work together. So again, make sure you're communicating, and when in doubt, reach out. Ask somebody. Ask Michelle specifically if you need help, saying, I need to get to do a callback. Can you get me there as soon as possible? And we'll work with you to our best of our ability. But just to schedule things, we have much more information on upcoming appointments than you do. So just please work with us, and this will all go much more smoothly as we try to get through this extremely busy time. So I appreciate your cooperation in advance, but again, cooperation is what's necessary at this point. So thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And Michelle, do you prefer a type of communication? Do you prefer a text, a phone call, an email? All three work?
All three work depending on the situation. A lot of times a text is probably better just because then I can, I'm not putting you on hold while I look stuff up, or, I can look into it and get back to you. It's usually within a few minutes. Email, same way. I check my email even in the evening, but after hours, text would probably be best. But a call, anything works.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Michelle, for being willing to jump on the call and share all that information. So thank you.
Thank you.
So now we're going to hear from from our panelists. And these three folks were handpicked because they, from the office perspective, they do a fantastic job working with Michelle and also managing their callbacks. So we wanted to have them share a little bit about their systems, kind of put them on the hot seat, figure out how they handle some of these tougher situations, and go from there. So, John, why don't we start off with you? If you don't mind, to share a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with Wallside, and then why is it important to manage your callbacks? What difference does managing your callbacks make when you're going to get just more leads the following day?
Been with Wallside since November of '95. So I'm coming up to my 26th year as an installer for 23 of those years or 22 of those years, and then been in sales for the last 3. Callbacks are very important. And I went through that Wallside University with Matt. That was a big part of that instruction at that time. And I really don't keep track of the percentages, but I'm thinking about it right now. And callbacks are a result of probably about 20% of all my sales are a result from a callback. When I do my callback, well, I do it a little different than probably most. I have hired an assistant. We have a generic email that goes out to every customer, either if it's sold or not sold. She then puts those out automatically. We get a returned email back from them. She then forwards it to me. I then set up an appointment, either mainly through email. Most of my callbacks are through email. Very few I have to go back to the home. So I do all the contracts at home, email them to them, they sign them, they send them back to me. I then put them in the folder and then forward them to Wallside at that time. I try to get them to send them back to me pretty quickly because I usually turn all my paperwork in at least once a week to Stanford's house. And I want all that in there. I don't want Wallside to try to find it or wait for it or have the measurement get the signature. I try my hardest to do that. When I'm in their home, if I don't have an email address, I ask for it because it's important. I've noticed when I do my callbacks, I used to do phone calls quite a bit. But if anybody is like me, I call, I look at my phone, I said, oh, I don't want to take that right now. And they don't answer the phone. Then you leave a message. But emails, they don't have to physically talk to you a lot. So they just kind of read it, then they think about it, and then I get a lot back from that. Managing them, I lost my train of thought, but what was your next question, Dave?
So I definitely want to unpack that a little bit more. 2 huge points that I feel like you just brought up. 20% of your sales come during a callback. Mm-hmm. And I definitely want to unpack that assistant part a little bit more. Okay. We're going to switch over to Brad here real quick and hear from him, and we'll come back to you, John, on that one.
Okay.
I also want to mention, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat box, and I'll circle back around and see what's going on in the chat box. But Brad, so how are you this morning? Thanks for jumping on the line here.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, just share a little bit about how long you've been with Wallside and why are callbacks important? Why do you handle your callbacks?
Well, I've been with Wallside now almost 10 years, and I'll just, I'm in a territory at the west side of the state. There's a lot of advertising. There's a lot of competitors, and I mean, any given morning you can hear 6 window commercials on TV. So there is a lot of people that shop, and so you do get, your callbacks. And the main thing is on callbacks, and when I'm in a home, I do think that, you get putting the most on a breakdown sheet on your cost sheet is very important, especially because, like John just said, you're doing a lot of email callbacks and you're sending them out on email and getting them back. But just knowing that what the mutton counts are, the colors, what removing mulls and everything on that, and you log it in, and as you break it down with the customer, it's there in bold writing, the colors, the how many windows we're pulling out, how many windows we're putting in, things of that nature, because it does help on callbacks. But the main thing is I always focus in. It depends on the callback. I mean, if you're out there and you got a 2-page contract and it's a very complicated job, lots of half circles, or where you got to go back and take pictures, you really want to. I always try to go back out there and explain to the customer, I got to come back out. Now, I'm one of those guys. I'm an early riser, so I love being in the home early. So I'm going to try and get my callback done at 8 o'clock or 8:30 or something like that. And I always like to pre-write. And if you notice right now, I got a pre-written contract right now. So the whole idea is that you're not there spending a lot of time inside the home, but on the backside, it does help you out with time, where you can get in and out because it's already pre-done. So you just try to make the most of your time. The other day, I'll just let you know, on Sunday, I had a situation where I was down in Battle Creek in Kalamazoo. Well, I live, that it was an hour and 45-minute ride one way. So I went out there on Sunday after church, and I drove all the way out there, and I worked all afternoon. Just there was some situations where people wanted to cancel a appointment last week, and the girls in the office said, this customer's canceling, see if you can save it, type thing, and so I got on the phone, and obviously I saved it, and I went out there and I saw him on Sunday, and so you just try to make the most of your time. But to sit there and try and schedule something that's an hour and 45-minute ride one way on a Monday through Saturday type situation is not going to work. So you're really, and especially with the customer wants to see you. So you got to, I do work a lot of Sundays. I'll just let you know that it's not that, but when it's busy like this, I mean, you got to make the most of your time and get, the quality, the leads that are coming into wall side, instead of trying to block yourself out. So really morning time is very important for me, because I always like to start my morning out with a nice sale. It sets your day up for the whole day, gets you a little bit more motivated, knowing that you have that in your bag, that you got that first sale in your bag. And in sales, I've been in sales a long time, and it always was, if you get that first sale, it always sets your day out going in the right direction. So, but the whole idea with callbacks is, you really just, I feel the main thing is getting putting the most information on that breakdown sheet. And if you have the scanner app on your phone, I've scanned apps in my car in my free time. I know we're looking at how do you manage your free time. I mean, that's a great way. I mean, you get a scanner app on your phone, you can sit in your car between appointments. If you have a little bit of a break, an hour in the parking lot of Costco or gas station or whatever, and do the contract, scan it, and send it out and get it into the customer's email. And like John said, you want to get it back ASAP, because obviously with how busy we are right now, the sooner you get it back, the sooner it can get into wall side and get into the measureman's hands. So that's the whole idea. So that's how I really focus my time.
Yeah, that's great. I love that philosophy of let's do the callback early and get a win at the beginning of the day, and tee up the rest of your day with that solid sale as your first move, and then go into that prepared with the contract filled out, ready to go to make the most out of that time. So.
And
yeah,
I'll I've been in customers' home at 6:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? I mean, they go to work at 7:30, and I've been up at 4:30 in the morning to go get ready to go see a customer. So it's just
bring the coffee with you. Yeah, awesome. That sounds good. So Ken, how How are you? Well, same set of questions. Why are callbacks important to you? How long have you been with Wallside, and anything else you'd like to share?
Thank you, David. I've been with Wallside going on about 8 years now. 2 years prior, and then now I've been back for about 6.5 years. And the callbacks are very important. And I remember a couple of weeks ago when David called me and asked me if I'd like to be on this call. And I just started laughing. And he goes, "What's so funny?" And I said, "Well, I've been living in my car for like the last month, and it was just a cluster. I mean, I had paperwork all over, notes all over. And it's just like, I'm not so sure I'm in charge of anything, David. I don't know if I would be a good candidate to be on the call." But it all comes together. You know, there's a lot of note taking, like Brad and John said, like when you're in the call, take as many notes as you can. And then later in the day, there is a process. Like I get, you know, at night, I recap the day with a glass of red wine and just make a lot of notes on what transpired. What, you know, I get a lot of personal information as well, about the kids, about the house, you know, pool in the backyard. They open up to you so that when you do reach back out to them, it's not just about the windows. You can ask them about, you know, how did the basketball game go? How did the hockey game go, or whatever? And you've created that personal relationship. I use all methods as far as calling back. I use text, I use email. Email is great. I agree with that. You know, just whatever you can do to get back in touch with them. And sometimes I'll reach back out after 24, 48 hours. I don't wait too long. There's a lot going on. But callbacks, I don't know what percentage it is of my business. I just know that it's a big part of my business. It could even be more than 20%. And not a lot of days, you know, you're going, most of the percentage has dropped a little because you're closing more sales right now, because most people, you know, both people are home. But still, a lot of people want to have time to think about it. You know, some of the older folks, they have to talk to their kids before they sign on the dotted line. So you're going to get callbacks. And it's important that you do take the time, like from the last Learn It, you know, with the guys in the presentation. I mean, it's all about doing that presentation right the first time. And your callbacks are, you know, they'll shoot through the roof.
Yeah, very cool. And what I appreciate about you is that transparency and honesty. And I think that's the truth for everybody, right? There's no perfect system. There's no perfect way to manage all of this. And it's coming at us all so quickly. You do the best you can, and you plow through what you have, and you try to build the right systems and put the right things in place. And you do what you can. So.
Right. And you know, I mean, my wife's offered to be my assistant. It would be nice to have an assistant, but I can't afford her right now. But I mean, it's not real scientific. It's just take notes. We make a lot of, I print out all the lead sheets when Michelle sends them. And I just make a ton of notes on there. And then later that night, all that information gets transferred over to a legal pad. When I'm driving, I have that legal pad. What, you know, you're not always, you know, in major traffic. There's plenty of time, and I can look down at a name and it'll spark that memory, and I'll just turn it back over to Siri, and I can send an email, I can send a text, I can do whatever. And yeah, so it's just, you're constantly finding ways to, as busy as we are, the Saturday, you know, the Sunday mornings, or working all day Sundays, 8 in the morning calls, it's whatever you got to do to, you know, to help during this busy time.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brad, I'm going to bring it back to you here.
Yep.
You know, I think one of the things we can all agree on, and we've talked about already a bunch on this call, is we're busy right now. These are busy times. So you're running your 3, 4, 5 leads every single day. Your list of callbacks is continuing to get longer and longer and longer every single day. How do you know who to call back, when to call them back, and how do you keep track of all that?
Well, and it's the same thing with, as Ken pointed out, there's a lot of note taking. I mean, who to call back. I mean, I pretty much would tell you, everybody's pretty much a callback. But, you know, this, when we're working with, let's say you might have a guy that's flipping a house, you know, and he gives you the answer, oh, I can't wait that long for install. You know, you're pretty much, you know, you might give them a quick call back, but you know that one's not on your radar. Like, oh, I think that guy's gonna make a purchase, you know. But the whole idea, and it's a different when you work out of the Grand Rapids area. I mean, Ken, I know comes out here, and there's a few people out here. It's a different feel because there's a lot of people that want. Everybody tells you, oh, I got to get 3 estimates. I got to find out. You're always the first one in, you know, make sure that you know, so you always want to give them a few days to get those estimates, you know, and especially out here, there's a lot of shystering and some of these companies, they don't want to put a salesperson in there for 2 weeks after the customer calls because maybe they're busy, but also they want everybody to get their estimates and then have that salesman come in at the end and try and, you know, get the best price. So that happens a lot where if you call them too soon, you know, you're not going to get, they're going, no, I haven't gotten all my estimates yet. You know, so you get a lot of that. And that's why you got to be, you walk a fine line in some of these areas. But I mean, who's a callback and who's not? I mean, this day and age with when you have the internet and you have the capability of sending out a contract and with a snap of a finger, I mean, everybody's capable of purchasing windows from Wallside. You know what I mean? So time wise, traveling wise, you know, that's why I just think that, you know, you're always trying to making that call back, but when's the proper time? That's the situation I find out here. It's because you are walking that fine line, and that's what you got to manage, you know, and that's my main thing out here.
Awesome. Yeah, so that makes perfect sense. You take really good notes, you find those connecting points with your customers, and then everyone's a callback, right? So you
Right.
look at your past schedule, you say, okay, who did I talk to 3-4 days ago? And you manage your callbacks through your calendar. So very
I'll just
cool.
let you know, I mean, just like I say, it's nice when you have that you can scan a contract in a lead paint form and a mutton sheet, and you can send it out with a snap of a finger. You know what I mean? And that is a great tool. But also, if it's a bigger job or it's a complicated job, you really want to focus on trying to see them in person. And I've you know, Saturday nights, like I say, Sunday early mornings. Michelle knows I try not to even put anything on Salesforce unless it's, you know, a time off or what have you. But I don't schedule callbacks. I always try to juggle them in and fit them in. And I always look in one thing, especially when the time, and if a customer does call and I have to see them or they want to see me, always look at the Salesforce that day. So if the leads are coming in at 1:30, you always want to tell the customer, you know, my appointments are coming in the afternoon. How about if I call you after I get my appointments and I can give you a better time and pinpoint a time for you, you know. And that's another nice thing that is nice, because then the customer knows, hey, I'm off on Tuesday. Tuesday would be my best day. How about if I call you Monday afternoon when I get my appointments on Tuesday, and then we can pinpoint that timing and fit it in that way. That's another nice one.
That's such a great tip. You wait until you get your leads, see what that day looks like, and then schedule.
The customers know that, you know, you're busy, or, you know, they understand. And then, but if they're saying, well, my husband is off, you know, all day and we're working from home, you know, he's available all day. How about if I call you Monday afternoon and we can pinpoint a time on Tuesday, so that way I'm just not knocking on his door on Tuesday at any time, you know, that I'm just going to knock. He might be in a Zoom meeting. He might be in an important call. So,
yeah. So John, let's jump over to you. I feel like you dropped a little bit of a bomb on us, and then we just kept going. So you mentioned you work directly with an assistant, right? So can you expand on that a little bit? Are they a VA? Are they a friend? What does that relationship look like?
She's a friend of mine for many, many years. And I told her I was going into sales and stuff like this, and we kind of brainstorm. And I have another buddy of mine who is used to be a headhunter and worked, just picking his very intelligent man that kind of told me what to do, work smarter, not harder. And how could you do this? And I came up with this idea, is just do it, hire someone, see what it does. So we have like I said, we have a generic email for if it sold or if it didn't sell. If it didn't sell, we always thank you for considering Wallside, blah, that kind of stuff. She sends that out, and then replied, if it's a sale, it is a thank you for your business. Referrals are very important to us. We reward referrals. I don't tell them how much Wallside sends them, but we reward referrals. And then they'll email her back, and then she emails it. I have in my car all my bids and quotes for the last 2 months, all in date order. Okay. So when she calls me or I get the email, she then sends it back to me. I grab the date that I was in there. I pull it up. Okay. I got my bid sheet in front of me, call that customer back. Boom. That evening, I do the filling out all the paperwork. If I have to come back in your home, it is literally maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I'm out of there. So I can squeeze them in pretty easily. But as for a cost wise, we were doing a little different at the beginning, and it was kind of hard. I kind of was paying her with like a commission / bonus level thing, but it was very, very hard for us to keep track of, like saying, her name's Jean. I said, Jean, this resulted in a sale. I know I owe you X amount for this, and I got to look for when it's installed, when I get paid. Then I, give her, it was just getting too hard, especially when you're 20 some weeks out. So now it's just a flat monthly fee, no matter what I pay her. So she does everything, and it works beautifully. It does free up my time to actually have a little bit of personal time. It's very important to me to have a little bit of downtime. I do work in my mind constantly 24/7. I'm thinking about today already. I'm thinking about yesterday. So I do need a little downtime. And just like Ken says he has a glass of wine, I like to come home after my appointments and relax a minute. Because if you don't do that, you're going to go insane. But
how many hours a week? How many hours a week would you say she works for you?
She works, well, it all depends on how many leads and appointments I had. So I really don't care how many hours, but everybody has to be contacted. And then I get I'm CC'd on every email that she sends out. So I see them. I say, oh, she sent it. I make, because I kind of know who I've been with during that week. It works beautifully. I mean, it is worth every penny to me. Out of those callbacks, she's probably 10% to 30% of that 20% is because of her following up with emails and phone calls. And we keep notes on everything. We got little notes like, I tried to call her once, you tried to call him once. And then sometimes it overlaps, where I called him already, and I'll just say, oh, I'm sorry, my assistant didn't see that I've already talked to you. So there's been times where it has happened, but generally people are very understanding. But I like it a lot. And I do have a notepad in my car, just like everybody else. Take a note down. I got to call this guy, or just right from the emails I can call from. So it works out well.
It's very interesting. So she makes phone calls as well. So she's actually talking with.
Sometimes she does, especially I do not have her call any of my customers unless it's about a month old. If I haven't heard from them. I don't want her to call right away, but she introduced herself as my assistant. So
wow,
nice.
So John, I feel like I could ask you a ton of questions on that topic alone.
Mhm.
You know, if anyone on the webinar is interested in learning more, what's the best way to reach out to you? What do you prefer?
Who, me?
Phone call, email, or
Oh, yeah.
yeah, do you mind chatting? Yeah, chatting
No, I
more
don't mind.
offline with folks about this?
No, you can
Okay.
give my phone number. You can put out there. I don't really, I'll be honest with you, I don't really call too many reps when I'm out in the field. I just run my own. I don't have anybody. Some of the when Brad said he talks to a lot of people, or Ken does. I just don't have that relationship with the salesmen or sale people like most of them do, because I just came from the sales or install and I came over, and I know them. I know who they are, but I've never really communicate with them of how they do stuff. I just come up with my own. So.
Very
David,
cool.
John, I just want to make a quick comment. I really think that's really interesting. And I think that I want to applaud you for that, because people have to remember, you know, there's guys writing 200, 300, 400, 500,000 a month, and probably more in some cases. And there's a lot of retail businesses out there that don't even do that in a month. And they have a full staff. They have a staff of office and service and an assistant manager and a manager. So again, managing that part of the business, managing your time, it's you know, it's something that I've looked at as well, but not there yet. But I think that's great that you're doing that. So
Yeah, I got lucky, to be honest with you, because my friend.
yeah, you got
wants
to find the right person for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't interview anybody. We just came up with this whole, this whole scenario. I would love to have my wife do it, like, but she says absolutely not.
He wants to be my driver. I don't.
Yeah. Can I just have a driver? Yeah. But it works out beautifully. And if anybody wants to contact me, please do so.
All right. Well, thank you, John, for that. So we have enough time for really one more question. Ken, I'm going to direct this to you here. I'm going to put you on the hot seat a little bit, if you don't mind, and put a scenario out in front of you. We're busy right now, and let's say your calendar is full for the next 5 or 6 days. You already know you have appointments every single day. Your phone rings or your email dings, and it's a very large customer. Let's say it's a $17,000 plus job, right? You've already talked to them a few times, and you need to see them in person. What is your next step? How do you make sure that runs well for you?
Well, the next step would be to call Michelle, whatever day or day or time. But yeah, you have to communicate.
Good answer. Good answer.
Well, and I'm going to hang myself out to dry here, because honestly, it's so busy. But I messed up yesterday. I went ahead and got a call back and booked something, and then I called her and I didn't know. So it happens. But the communication with Adam and what Michelle said is key. But I would definitely call her first. The good news is somebody that's buying 17 grand from you, David, they trust you, they believe in you, they're going to work with you.
Yes,
So you have plenty of time to figure something out. Sundays, 8 a.m.s, and now the time has changed. So we're in daylight savings. So it doesn't get dark till 9 o'clock. If I have to go by someone's house, at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and again, everything's going to be pre-written. It's only going to be like a 15, 20-minute call, because everything's going to be done prior. So you just got to do all your homework. You'll figure it out. They'll work with you. And, but yeah, that a $17,000 sale is going to be a priority, and you'll get it done sooner than later.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for your time and being willing to share these details of your work with everybody. Adam, I'll turn it over to you to wrap us up and go from there.
Well, first off, thank you, Michelle, John, Ken, and Brad for doing this today. And just listening through the last 40 minutes or so, I think the key is figure out what works for you. And I think they're, making sure that you have a process and a system that you're following up with customers, and and you're being the most efficient as possible with your time is extremely important. And the people that are able to do that will be the most successful. So there's a lot of resources not only in this webinar, but among other sales reps to figure out what's the right way. There's no right way or wrong way of doing it. necessarily. But you got to figure out what works best for you, because you, especially in times like now, you'll get quickly overwhelmed and things will start going crazy. So I urge you to try to figure out and continue to work on yourself. As we talked, as many of you who have gone through the Matt Dela Cruz program as well, is that we're all athletes here, and we got to continue to work on ourselves to improve day in and day out, and we could all have opportunity to improve. So I appreciate the three of you for coming on and describing it. And as you know, as we talked about, what do you do when you have any type of callback that you want to go with? If it's multiple choice, all three answers should be contact Michelle. So there's no other possible answer. We're here again. We're here to work with you, but the key is to reach out and communicate. And so I'll leave you with that. As we know that it's kind of crazy, and you know, obviously this last year has been crazy. But we urge you to continue to work with us, and things will work a lot more smoothly. So we appreciate the work that you're doing, and have a great Tuesday and make it a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks, David.
Hey, you guys have a great day.
Hi, everybody.